now to the final preview, which I think this one is going to be awesome. I think this was in so many ways that this is a volleyball world wet dream, having these two players over here. But I also think that this is a fantastic job and a fantastic way for USA Volleyball to promote their men's team. And I really hope, I really hope that USA Volleyball in general jumps on this opportunity. And there's a few reasons for that. Now, USA fans in general don't really care about international volleyball. They care about the NCAA and they care about the Olympics, right? Anything in between is not that much, especially on the men's side. However, Moni reached another level of stardom that we've never really seen in indoor men's volleyball in the NCAA. You know, brother Alex wasn't able to do that. Taylor Sander wasn't able to do that. Micah Christensen wasn't able to do that. You know, none of these guys in the NCAA have been able to bring the level of attention that Moni did. Like, he was a traveling circus. I've talked about it before. There was a resale market for Long Beach matches. It was standing room only in most gyms. Like, after Long Beach played, I would wake up excited to see, like, what did this man do last night? What did this man do? So now you see, you're going to have the American fans with the ability to tune in to watch their homegrown boys, their young guys who are relevant. Other than like Shoji and Michael Christensen, it's all guys who have played in the NCAA in the past number of years. So this is a chance for USA fans to watch them play against two of the past NCAA players of the year. And now both Moni and Alex won the NCAA Player of the Year. Both of them brought Long Beach to the finals. Alex lost in the finals to UCLA. Moni won it, beating UCLA, right? That's correct. I can't really remember. Too much volleyball over the past few years. So one and dones are really rare and pretty much non-existent in men's volleyball. Like, the only ones I can think of are Moni and Alex. So this is going to give USA a little bit more interest in this game. I think an average volleyball fan is going to care about this match way more than, otherwise done. Now, I think that this is going to be a very emotional game and a very tactical game. I think Karch has shown that his ability to push this team to another level in the past, 7-8 weeks since VNL has been outstanding. His ability to outcoach guys like Soli in Slovenia is really big. And then I've talked about Blangini and give him a lot of credit too for what he's been able to do for Bulgaria. Now, I do think that overall, it's really tough to say because USA, I think, has a more overall talent, especially at the setting position. Once again, no knock to Moni. He's been fantastic. But we're talking about an 18-year-old here, 19-year-old, going up against Micah Christensen, one of the best setters in the absolute world. So I think there's going to be a few things. One, I think Karch is going to focus his entire game plan on Alex. And he's the best scorer in the tournament. He's the top scorer on the team. You have to do that. You have to game plan around one of the best players. And that's just how you're going to have to do it. Okay. I know that they're hiding him in serve receive and kind of doing some funny things. However, I think that even though they're not going to be able to find him in serve receive, I wouldn't be surprised that in any out of situation, tip the ball to Alex. Tip it short, make him step up, play that ball, a lot like we saw Belgium against Finland. There's that part. And then the other side of it is that any free ball situation, you want to give that ball to Alex, especially when he's in the front row. You want to give it to him short, make him pull it up so that the Americans can kind of camp in on him and clamp on them. Okay. The other outsides are going to need to play fantastic, whereas it's Antanasov or Asparuhov. Those guys are going to get their swings and they're going to need to convert if Bulgaria wants to win this one, right? It can't all be Alex because of the attention that Alex is going to be getting. There's no different than in the NFL and you have a wide receiver who through weeks 1 and 3 has been outstanding, and then you pick him and you start him on your fantasy team and then he gets nothing because he's been double coveraged throughout the rest of this match. I think that's going to be a lot what we're going to see for Alex. So if Bulgaria is going to win this one, Alex is going to get his. He's still going to lead this team in scoring, and he's going to show. I think this match is going to really show how elite of a scorer he actually is. Can he get the job done with all of the focus on him? I think that is going to be one of the big questions. And, you know, can he get the job done when he's being pressured? I think that's going to be a massive question for this Bulgarian team. Am I still streaming here? It seems to be buffering on the back end, but I still seem to be getting excellent connection. Let me know in the chat if we're having any issues or if I'm lagging or anything like that. Now, I honestly think that we're going to see an American front row that is prioritizing Alex at all time. And I think they're honestly going to give away free shots to Antanasov and Asparuhov. And I think we're also going to see Moni score some points too, mostly because he's going to want to get out there and swinging. But one of the most interesting parts of this match, I think, is that, as I talked about in the Slovenia match, the USA offense has really struggled to score at times. They've really struggled to be efficient, and there's still a little bit of that disconnect with Micah and some of the outsides. And on the other side of the net, you have what has been the best blocking team in the tournament, right? Grozdanov is averaging 0.79 blocks per set, Petkov is averaging 0.77, and Antanasov is averaging 0.71. All of them are in the top 10 for blocks. And now the US has been getting blocked quite a bit, and their offense has struggled to get it done. And Slovenia, who is a really good blocking team, but not quite as good as Bulgaria at the moment, was all over the US with blocks. Like, they blocked them 10 times with 12 touches. I do think that is going to improve. You've got one of the best players one of the best setters in the world in Micah Christensen. And I know that he's going to be able to figure things out and find some gaps for his offense. I'm really expecting Champlin and Ewert to start. Of course, they have been. You're going to need them for their ball control. But I think that with the blocking out there and with that misconnection on the outside, eventually we're going to see one of them get subbed out, because Cooper Robinson, is more offensive minded and more physical than either of those guys. And then also, Robinson is a guy that's played against Moni. He knows his tendencies. He's game planned against him now multiple times in the NCAA. So I think that is going to be an option where Cooper Robinson might have a little bit more motivation. You know, he beat him in the NCAA final. Like, this is a guy that ended their streak a little bit. So I think we're going to see some very, very interesting chess matchups in this one overall, and I would be absolutely astonished, if we didn't see Cooper Robinson at some point. Like, to me, if we don't see Robinson, it's because the US has been absolutely cooking and they've been unreal throughout. And you know what? Like, if we don't see Robinson, I think it's because it's a 3-0 for US, or like a 3-1. But I honestly don't think we're going to see that. I think on the USA side, even more so on the Bulgarian side, that a strong reception is going to be key. And they've got some big servers. Both Moni and Alex know how to bring the heat. They know how to serve hard. And luckily for the US, they do have Eric Shoji, who is arguably, if not the best serve receiver in the world. And that's, once again, why you're going to need Ewert and Champlin out there. And if you go to Cooper Robinson, then I'm expecting Eric Shoji to take way more. And I think that matchup in the middle is going to be really interesting, because I think guys like Grozdanov and Petkov aren't necessarily as good at blocking down the middle. Especially, I think we're going to see a lot of different routes from Jeff Jendrick. I think we're going to see him, cutting and slashing and kind of opening up some gaps on either side of the middles where they have the ability to swing away. And I'm also going to be very interested to see how Langini matches up, who he matches up against Merrick McHenry, because I think if McHenry is paired up against Petkov, then there's a much bigger chance, because Petkov actually isn't that tall. I'm 6'3", and you can go check out my interviews with him from Quebec City, and he's not that much taller than I am. I'd give him 6'6" at most, and McHenry is a guy that is going to be able to play above that. But if he's up against Grozdanov is a big physical guy who blocks really well, who's an elite blocker at a lot of levels, has done it well. The Superliga has done it also well now in the Plus Liga. And I'm going to be very interested to see how McHenry can handle that big one-on-one block in front of him in Alex Grozdanov. So I think that passing is going to be key to you have to set the middle you have to establish the middle so you can establish the pipe, right? No one is going to bite on that pipe if you're not setting the middle. So I think is going to be huge for USA if they can pass well and keep their middles involved, and then that's going to allow them to open up that that offense way more, right? Bulgaria hasn't played against a setter with the quality of Micah Christensen, and it's going to be interesting to see that matchup a little bit there. And I also think that USA needs to be way better in transition, right? Alex is a guy that terminates. Nikolov is a guy that terminates the ball, and they're not going to get as many cracks at the can, I think, in transition as they did against Slovenia. Okay, I think this is overall going to be a really interesting tactical match between two really good coaches. I'm very interested to see what happens over the course of this match, but I also think it's going to be a huge emotional battle, right? There's a lot of familiarity there with Alex and Moni. Dominating the NCAA the way that they did. They were both players of the year. They were both one and dones. They both brought Long Beach to the final. And also, like, this match is hands down going to be the highest attended match. The Filipinos love both of these teams, and I think that we're going to see competing factions of fans cheering for both these teams, which I think is going to be absolutely awesome. And I think there's going to be a lot of media hype around this matchup too, right? It's going to be the last match of the quarterfinals. Whoever wins this match is going to be the last one to determine who goes to the semifinals. And both teams know that there is a massive opportunity when looking at the other quarterfinal on the other side of the bracket, right? They know that, like, for Bulgaria, it's a massive opportunity to get back to a medal for the long time. And for the US, it is a massive opportunity to do something really special with a group that no one really expected them to. So I think that there's going to be a lot of emotions in this match. And that's why I think we're going to see maybe some sloppy plays at times. But I don't I think that this is going to be an absolute banger. And ultimately, for my prediction of this match, I think that US is going to win this one 3-2. I think that overall they're the better team, and that they just have a little bit more firepower. No, actually not that. They don't have more firepower. I do think that Bulgaria has more firepower. Alex is just way better than anyone that the US has, even with Gabby Garcia playing the way that he did in that last match. But the American system and Karch coaching them, I think, is ultimately going to be able to prevail in this one. But regardless of what it is, I think it's going to be a banger of a match, and you bet your bottom dollar that I will be doing a watch along for this match.